I'd like you to tell me, give me your full name, what tribe you're part of, and what is it you do for a living?
Okay, my name is Nicholas Layang Anak Barasa. So I'm 26 years old. I'm doing thing for living like right now I'm working for the Malaysian Tourism Board. I'm used to be a guide, guiding around the Mulu area for the cave, for the pinnacles, for the Headhunter Trail, and a lot of a trail that you can go with us if you booking with us.
Now you've got a strong feeling about the environment, and I think that your grandmother must have influenced your how would you say, your strong beliefs.
Okay, for the question, actually, my grandmother, my mom, my dad told us about the environment since since we are from the maybe 7 years old, still kids, and they will tell us about the environment, all things that we can use or we not use in the forest area. So
Now, when we were talking earlier, you said you learned a lot from your grandmother. What about your grandfather, or was it mostly from your grandmother?
actually, I learned a lot from my grandmother because my late grandfather was passed away when I was 3 years old. So that's mean my grandmother is also for me just like my grandfather.
What things did you learn from your grandmother?
I learned a lot, like the wild herb that you can use for the medicine from the forest that we can collect, and how to live in the jungle, how to go for the hunting, and how to live in the jungle area when you live been left behind. So my grandmother said the first thing you should go is you should search for the river nearby. So for me, if you left me in the forest area for the 3 months, I can live for the 3 months. I can survive it.
Now, you also said your grandmother told you a lot about the 200 years ago and how they managed to get the tribes to start working together rather than be into the headhunting business.
Yes, actually, my grandmother told me and my brother and my sister a lot of story from the 200 years ago, how our tribe and the other tribe combine with each other and make peaceful living with each other, because we don't want to continue our tradition about cutting the other people's heads. So I think we should live in the harmony uh, right now, like right now. So for me, from the story that I heard from my grandma, I should keep it in my mind, because we should respect the other person from the other tribe.
You indicated that your grandmother is approaching 100 years old, and you have a feeling it's something to do with what she eats and how she eats.
Yes, probably from the food that she eats. I think uh, he knew about the forest, so he knew about the green veggie in forest. So I think from the food that she eat. So I'm glad that my grandmother can live, I think, almost 100 years until right now.
Does she consult with the shaman in your community, or does she know about the shaman? Does she do anything with your shaman?
Actually, my grandmother is related to our shaman in Longhouse, but he was not getting involved with this shaman ritual or shaman uh, do thing for life, but she was believe what could be or what could happen when she meet with the shaman. He will ask about about healthy that she have right now, or how many years he will continue to living on this earth. And I think for me, she was a great grandma. And if my grandma still believe in the shaman ritual, I can accept it, because we are also from the shaman ritual actually, for the, I think from the day I get birth in this world. So for me, everything that I have right now, it's from my grandma.
Wow. Now you indicated that your brother has some shaman powers of some sort. Is it your brother?
Yes, it was my brother. He realized it, the gift that he has when he was 17 years old, when he was in the high school, when he touched somebody hands or friend, and he can feel, or he have a visual that my friend will his friend will have injury when they get play for the football match against the other school. So suddenly, when I was in the same school on the day that they play with the other school, one of his friend broke his ankle. So for me, the visual that he has and the gift that he has, it was from the gods, not from the shaman.
Ah, okay. Now, if you start thinking about any more of the lessons, the stories, the stories that your grandmother told you, can you think of any more stories that your grandmother told you that have an influence on you?
Yes, actually, we have a lot of influence. You have to respect the forest, the wildlife, the people surround you, because the forest, for many years ago, from my grandma's story, 100 years ago, we have a lot of things that live in the forest area. Because a long time ago, my grandma have a dream that he will meet a big king cobra, and this king cobra will give him like a small stone, and the small stone just like he she can use it, just put it on the water. If one of our family gets sick or get injury, so the stone will be like a medicine that you can drink the water from the king cobra give him when he meet the king cobra. So this stone will be like a medicine for our family. So right now, for the stone that we have right now, it was kept by my mom right now. So everyone can use the stone, but we have to use the stone for the right thing and not the wrong thing.
Isn't that true? Okay, so that's one more story, and a couple of stories. You must be a little bit concerned with the way in which our politicians are exploiting the land with dams and cutting down the trees.
Yes, for me, I think the government is very sick.
Sick.
Yeah, they are very, I think, a little bit crazy to take over somebody land or somebody territory, because the land it's belong to all the people in the Malaysian area. Like ours, we live in Sarawak, so the land in Sarawak will be all the people in the people live in Sarawak. So why the government try to rebuild the new dam in Baram area and try to cut all the tree for the plantation area and for the logging company, and suddenly all the benefit that they have right now, it's belong to the government and not to, and they not repay the benefit to the Sarawak people. So for me, like me, I'm the Sarawak people. I think I was very upset for the government, because they cut the tree, they have our oil and gas, they have our land, and they rebuild the new dam, and all the benefit return to the Malaysian government and not to Sarawak people. Maybe they will give us just maybe 3% of all of the things that they do in Sarawak. So for me, I think we should fight for our land, fight for our people, because not every government do things right.
Right. What is it that you enjoy about taking tourists up to the pinnacle?
Actually, when I have a tourist that go with me on my tour to the pinnacle, or for the cave tour, or only just for trekking around the forest, I think for me, they just like my friend, they just like my family. So I'm quite happy because a lot of tourists from the other country, like from Europe and from other part of the world, come to Mulu, visit Pinnacle, visit the cave, and sitting with us together on the table, talking with us, and sometimes make friends with us. So for me, I'm quite happy and having fun with with the tourists that I bring to the campfire and to the pinnacles.
Thank you very much, Nicholas.
You're welcome.